Kiara, good evening. This is Mary Joseph. I'm coming live from New Zealand, Auckland. We're going to talk about migration to New Zealand. We'll just wait a few seconds, minutes before people um, come in. Just going to quickly. We're coming live. I'm coming live both on Facebook, on our AJV Global page, and also on YouTube. So you can watch it in two places. Please also share this at the end of the event. Okay, right. But I guess people will start coming in a bit, so we can start talking about what we're here for today. So, hi, Kiara. I'm Mary Joseph. I'm a licensed immigration advisor based out of Auckland. We've got our office. AJV Global has an office in Hamilton. So, my license, I'm a licensed immigration advisor approved by the government of New Zealand to give immigration advice, and that's why here I'm today to talk about how families can migrate to New Zealand. One of the biggest examples I can say is myself and my family. We also migrated to New Zealand. I was not born here, so I'm a migrant as well, like most of you who are looking at migrating to New Zealand. So, oops, sorry, did not expect that to happen. Sorry about that. I guess this is what is called wardrobe malfunction. Sorry about that. That didn't expect that to happen. Anyways, so New Zealand as a country is requiring migrants. We are a small country with a relatively smaller population when compared to most of the world. So New Zealand is looking at more people with skills to come in and migrate, and not just for that, for the sake of society, for the sake of an overall development of the country. We are looking at families to migrate as well. In fact, just today I just saw information that came through from Immigration New Zealand, that there is a Samoan quota that's opened for residents. There is a certain number of people from the Pacific who are allowed to apply for migration directly to New Zealand. That residence category is open. So New Zealand is in need of growth, not just in skills, but we're looking at the number of people also, as in we are a relatively smaller economy, and more people means also increasing the economy. So today I'm going to talk about what are the options available across the migration portfolio, as to what are the options available for migration of families per se, right? One of the most common ones that are available is migration through a study pathway. That's what we have taken up. Myself and my family, we have taken up the pathway via study. So my husband came here to study, and I got a work visa. I came in, and then even before he finished the course, I qualified for residence, and I went ahead and applied for my residence. Yes, I applied to the skilled migrant category, and it took a long time at that point in time in 2019, because at that time the processing time was about 20 to 24 months, and it did take a while, but eventually we got our residence. But right now, our expectation is the SMC category will resume, and there will be faster processing. There was a time prior to 2019 that applications were decided within 2 or 3 months, or up to 6 months. So we are hoping that the numbers will go back to that, to pre-COVID, I would say 2019, pre-COVID, processing timeline. So study pathway, as I said, is one of the pathways, most stable pathways available. The return on investment is also quite easily, you can see the return on investment. You spend about, say, $20,000 to $35,000 for your study and your other cost of traveling and migrating per se, and that you will be able to earn if your partner is taking up employment almost immediately, you will be able to earn that by end of the year. Now, how does family migration fit very perfectly in this study pathway? Is because one of the couple is studying, the other gets an open work visa. And open work visa means it gives you an opportunity It gives the partner of a student the eligibility to work in any employment in New Zealand, including self employment. I know for a fact that a lot of people, when they come in, they're not able to find proper employment to keep the cost, to meet the cost. They're picking up, say, self employment roles. Like, for example, Uber, it pays pretty decently. Uber driver services pays pretty differently. I have seen some people who have picked up those jobs, but most of our client partners are able to find employment which will qualify them for any kind of a residence pathway. This is what the trend has been up to about last year. And we believe that this trend will continue because skilled migrant category is one of the biggest open pathways for residents of whoever finds employment in New Zealand. So partners of students have that eligibility as soon as you come in. Now, what happens to children? Children get free education. They come in up to the age, schooling level, you get free education up to the age of 18. University studies will be charged at international fees, but as long as they are in school, they are qualified for free education. So, my child studies at one of the public schools here. We do not pay any fees except for a very, very small amount of donation, or some other activity fees, which does not exceed more than $500 a year. So we have straight off saved, probably he's in year 3 now. So we've straight off saved about, I've heard that especially in India, from where I come from, schools, good schools, the fees has gone all the way up to a lakh per year, which is quite high. I remember the times that I finished school with about 1,000 rupees, in 1 year. So, but then things have changed now. Years later, 25 years later, things are different here in New Zealand, sorry, in India. So when the cost is going up, I think we'll have to judicially think as to, okay, if I have 2 kids and I'm going to spend, say, about, for 12 years of education, 1.5 lakh each for 2 kids, that's quite a lot. So that's 12 into 2, that's 24 lakhs straight off there, which, if you look at it, if you spend that kind of money at once for a study here in New Zealand, think of that, that your child's education is completely taken care of because it's free. Additionally, also health benefits. So if you come here, if one person has a work visa, the work visa holder is eligible for free medical, and so then that passes on to your children as well. So if your partner is able to get a work visa, or has lived in New Zealand for a certain amount of time, children will also be eligible for free health over here, for free health, and yourself as well. Now, as a student, you will have your insurance, so that's also taken care of. So you overall, when you say that, oh, I'm going to spend the 35-40,000 dollars, which is about 20 lakh rupees in Indian rupees, well, that is the kind of money you will spend straight off on your child's education. If you're For one child, it'll be about 12 to 13, or even it might increase over time. So if you putting all that money in now, think of it like a fixed deposit maturing later. So it's like that. It's a mutual fund which is maturing later and giving you better benefits. So you got to look at return of investment on student pathway like that. You have to see that, okay, I'm going to spend so much, but what am I saving over time? Yeah. Also, I would recommend for families to try and come in as early as possible, because if you are older, it obviously your runway to residence also shortens, because if you're looking at points based SMC residence, the older you become, the lesser your points are. So I recommend families to come in as early as possible. Don't wait and say, okay, let me think another 2-3 years. The earlier you come, the better. Okay, I have seen this industry since 2005. Trust me. And yes, policies have changed. Constantly, policies have changed, but they've always been in favor of skilled people, people who have skills, good communication skills, technical skills, work skills, employable skills, transferable skills. That's another thing that's important to understand. Saying, okay, I've worked in X industry, that industry is no longer, big in New Zealand. How will my skills, or will I get a job? The point is for you to understand whether your skills are transferable. Like, for example, I'm a marketing graduate, but when I applied for a job in this industry, I carried the skills that I had. So those are transferable skills. Okay, I transferred my skills into this industry and I try to fit it in, and I'm doing well. I'm doing amazingly good. It's 18th year running in this industry, and I love what I do. It's purely because I see the futures for so many families. And I should tell you, the study pathway is one of the most stable pathways for families, because I'd say it's a complete package. Okay, that's the first one. Now, second one, if you are in a certain categories of roles, or if you're in jobs that are very high skilled, both technical or non-technical, there could be a chance you can apply for a direct work visa, provided you first get employment. As simple as that. So you will need to apply online. Now, I will give more importance to people who are on the green list, right? Last week, I did a session about green list, especially for ICT professionals. But there is an extended occupation list on the green list. It's not just two IT people, but the rest also are required: engineers, health professionals there. And if you are a nurse currently overseas, there is also a possibility you could get directly a job as a healthcare person here, which is again a big industry right now. There's a lot of demand for healthcare people. If you are a nurse, please consider trying to apply online and getting um, what do you say, the healthcare jobs, because there are plenty of healthcare jobs here in New Zealand, and the industry is so desperate that they are willing to accept applicants from offshore as well. I have one client right now with me who's got an offer sitting in another country altogether. So I would strongly recommend you to pursue that. So if you are able to apply online and find a job, and employers willing to support your visa, this category is called an accredited employer work visa. So the employer, an accredited employer, will offer you a job. The labor market testing is done, and then we apply for um, the visa application. And if you're given a work visa, your partner can accompany you. At this moment, from now to December, the partner will get an open work visa. However, post December, the partners will not be eligible for a work visa. But the policy is still not out about partners post December. It is anticipated or expected by what immigration has already told us, that the partners will get visitor visas post December. However, your children will still be eligible for free education, because one parent will be having a work visa, right? So one parent has a work visa, your children education is free, plus your health will be completely free, subsidized from day one. It's not free health, sorry, I'll just correct myself. Even with the previous, subsidized health is public funded subsidized health, and for children it's free. So that comes with the package right from day one of you getting a visa and entering into the country. So this is the second pathway, which is again very beneficial for people who are able to find jobs from offshore. I would, if you belong to areas that do not are not in the high demand areas right now, or the shortage list right now, I would say it's going to be very difficult, unless you are in very senior positions, right? If you're in management, general management, accounting, I would say it might be a little difficult. But if you're in the green list, you're in healthcare, please pursue and try and find a job online. And if you are able to, we can assist you with the work visa. Yeah. And the third pathway is possible direct pathways of residence, direct residence, right? Sorry, I will go back a bit to the second pathway as to how you can convert that. So the accredited employer work visa has some pathways of residence. One is you've got a fast track residence, where in certain areas, um, if you're on the green list, fast track tier 1, then you can apply for direct residence from September this year. Once you come into New Zealand, you go ahead and you apply for direct residence. Or the second one is tier 2, where you have to be on a 2-year work visa, work to residence visa. And after that, it's actually on the accredited work visa itself, you have to meet that conditions for 2 years, and at the end of 2 years you can apply for residence. It was earlier called work to residence. Okay. So if you work for 2 years in that employment, which is in the tier 2 list, then you can qualify for. Right now, there is an exception for healthcare workers also. They are not on the green list, but they are an exemption occupation on that list to be able to qualify for work to residence, the 2 years to residence pathway. This is open to healthcare workers and nurses and a couple of others who are in the health and healthcare and support. Um, or if you do not, if you have an accredited employee work visa, but you don't belong to the green list, you're not in the healthcare, then we are also expecting the third category. to be opened. Sorry, there is another third category which is called a high remuneration package, where if you have worked for 2 years for twice the median wage with the same salary steadily for 2 years, then you will qualify for residence. A new category. This is all work, skilled work pathway, right? Now there is another one called skilled migrant category, points based, which was the most popular one in the past, which was the most popular one in the past. So that is expected to reopen very, very soon. It is based on point structure, and there is a good possibility some of you people will be able to apply from for residence directly from offshore based on that. Okay. Now that is actually an overlap with your the third category, which is applying for direct residence through the skilled migrant category points based system. I have not much of the details yet. We don't know when it's going to reopen. We don't know what are the point structure. We don't know the what the policy will say. But when that is announced, I will come back and I will do a special session on that. So as you can see, there are right now three pathways. One is study, second is work, third is direct residence. If whatever's open right now, I'll say the first two. Yeah, the third one is still suspended. But if you are keen to move to New Zealand, I think you should not wait and try and get into the first one. Okay, if you're keen and you think you've got good levels of English to meet, because IELTS will be mandatory, and one of the partners should have that English level. In fact, the other should also, because if the person on the work visa is also not having good English, then again you won't qualify for residence. You have to have that levels of English. So if you both have good levels of English and you've got kids below the age of 18, it is the best time to come in, because your kids, the earlier you come the better, because your kids get adjusted to the environment, the education system very quickly. I see a lot of parents worrying, saying, oh, I want to finish the entire academic year and then probably think about it. I would say that's a wrong call, because in New Zealand, anytime you can enroll your child into school. So if you're going to say July, the child has already lost half a year, because usually schools finish in April and you look at June, July entrance. But I would say that will be a wrong move. I would say if it's better, if it's in fact for the February intake, because that's when the kids also start school. The Feb 1st is the usually around Feb 1st or 2nd is when the school starts. So if you're keen to move, I would say over December is the best time, because that's when it's summer, kids get adjusted very quickly. It's holiday time. Doing a lot of things are quite flexible as well. Don't wait for a certain time or for the year end and the academic year end for your child. It does not matter, because irrespective of what year they have finished in their home country, over here the entrance is based on their age. So if they could have completed year 4 in their home country, but if suppose based on their age they are supposed to be in year 4, they will go into year 4. So it does not really matter. Hence, do not waste time by delaying and saying, okay, let me come later, let me go later, because they have to finish an academic year and it's very important. And the education is very, very different here in New Zealand, because I think the kind of education that is there in India, I know personally, is where you expected to be given everything. You're spoon fed everything. There is no space for creativity. There is no space for your own thinking there. But in New Zealand, it allows children to grow based on what their requirements are. So not every child in a class will be on the same level of learning. Each child is at their level of learning. I can't expect my child to know 20 tables, 10 tables to up to 100, when another child is at that level. No, it doesn't work like that. The education is very, very customized over here, right? So if your child specifically has trouble learning, there is no issues. New Zealand can adapt to. New Zealand education will adapt to that child. There are no special schools in New Zealand, because there is a bill that says education is equal. Everybody has an equal right. So there are no special schools in New Zealand. So everybody will be treated equally, even if they have a physical or a mental disability. All the kids are treated equally. So that's what I like about New Zealand. It's that equality when it comes to education. Everybody is treated alike, and the education is free for kids. So I would take this opportunity and say, please, if you are thinking of moving to New Zealand, I think it's one of the best decisions. But do it early. Do not wait. Do not wait for things to change. It's my personal recommendation because I had other options as well. I wanted to migrate quite early in my life, but I had all other options. But when I compared, I could see New Zealand being the best fit for myself and the kind of lifestyle I wanted. Yeah. Um, it's safe, secure, a great atmosphere over here in terms of the climate, and people over here are very, very kind and warm. So it's a personal experience that I'm sharing with you all, and I hope that you seriously consider moving with your family to New Zealand, right? So I guess a kind of 15-20 minutes I've covered quite a lot of ground here. But if there are any questions, I'll quickly take them. I'm just going to quickly jump onto a question. um, uh, MJ asks, he says, Madam, my wife has completed her master's in India in finance. She wants to do PG diploma, and I want to accompany her as a dependent. Is it possible to move with her? And what is the probability of getting PR? Great. MJ, I'm going to thanks for your question. This is coming from from YouTube. So, MJ, first of all, the program choice is wrong. I'll be upfront with you. That will not give you a work visa, right? So if you want to accompany your wife, you better talk to us right now. My team will connect with you, and they will share all the information. But you have to connect with us to know more, because the first of all, the course choice is absolutely wrong. You need to understand whether which will qualify you for residence, and the probability of getting PR will be completely based on how quickly you or your wife are able to find jobs. Yeah, as I said, track record goes that the spouses of our students have been able to crack a job very, very quickly. So it'll also depend on how quickly you're able to find a job, whether you belong to a green list, or do we have to wait for SMC, a combination of things. But um, first of all, we need to fix the course choice you're doing. It's a wrong course. So have a chat with my team, MJ, and they will assist you with your queries, and we can see how it goes from there. Yeah. Okay, let me check on Facebook if there are any questions. Right, so we've got a question from Nitish. Nitish asks, "Hi, I wish to come to New Zealand to study masters in civil engineering. And currently, I plan to come and bring my wife, who is IT professional, 1-year-old son after I complete the course. Would my wife be eligible for an open work visa during my post-study work visa period?" The answer is yes, Nitish. But at the same time, like I said few minutes ago, it it probably would be counterproductive that you are going to wait for your wife to join you after a year, purely because your runway to residence will come down if your wife is able to come in and get a job, because she's an IT. She's also belongs to the green list if she's a software programmer specifically. And moreover, your child is a year old. By the time you try to come to New Zealand, the child will be 1.5 years, and it's a perfect time for the kid to go into kindy. Yeah, my son was about 2 years old when he came to New Zealand. He went into kindy, where we have 20 hours of subsidized education for at early childhood. So he stayed from 8 to 5:30. He stayed at kindy while I went to work and my husband went to work. So your life can revolve around kids. I know we are so used to having so much of support back from our home countries where we are, say India per se, and because of that we tend to become very dependent, right? But New Zealand teaches you to become independent. Your child will become independent per se, and you can work your schedule around your child. Employers are flexible too, and your child's schedule can be worked around you. You don't have to depend on anybody. We don't have family here, and we have pulled it through 6 years now, and trust me, it can be done. Yeah, you don't need, yes, initially you will need some support, but if you have friends and people like us who can guide you through as to what needs to be done, trust me, it'll be a cakewalk. Yeah, we'll find you some friends, some families who could help you, adjust. But Nitish, I think it'll be probably better if your wife accompanies you while you are studying, because then she can crack that job for you. Or if you think it's better that she studies, and if she wants to study and upgrade herself, that could be also a good idea, because you are a civil engineer, and there are lots of opportunities in construction and civil and surveying, and quantity surveying here in New Zealand. That could be an opportunity where she's studying and you're working, and again the same thing, you can create that residence pathway even before she finishes the course. So See, these are discussions we got to have one on one. We got to talk to you and understand why have you decided what you've decided. Yeah. And then we will give you an opportunity to, ask your questions. And I'll be happy to have a one on one chat after you speak to my team regarding this, because understand, guys, it's very important. These pathways you have to select very very carefully. I have seen a lot of people doing absolutely the first step wrong is the course selection. If you don't do a proper course selection, first of all, with the current conditions with the visa, you might not even get a visa. But if god forbid you get that visa, you come into New Zealand, a wrong course choice will even get you into further trouble. I have not seen that with our students, because we are very very careful about the way we offer the course options. For us, what's more important is what will happen to you after you come here, because once you come to New Zealand, you're still a responsibility, you're still here interacting with my team, and you are looking at a goal, and we would like to help you see that goal, that is getting a residence. So unless you're willing to see that end goal, it's important for you to take proper immigration advice right from the beginning, and not wait for you to come into the country and then think of immigration advice. Yeah, you need to think of it even before you leave your home country. So my request is that you talk to our team. My team will reach out to you, Nitish, and please share your information, and we can have further discussions on this, right? Okay, so I don't see any questions coming up, both on. Oh, we've got something on YouTube. Hi, Shiva. Thank you so much for your question. Shiva says, I'm 36 old now, having bachelor's in engineering. My wife's done her bachelor's degree. Give us best suggestion to move to New Zealand. Shiva, I think it's a perfect right age. Is no, you're not too old, you're not too young, because of which your opportunities in terms of job search will be brilliant. Because as an engineer, there are plenty of opportunities for engineers in New Zealand. Um, if you're able to apply online and get a job, great, talk to us about your work visa. If you think that's not possible, then the best thing will be for your wife to come here and study while you can come on a work visa. So my team will reach out to you, Shiva, have a chat with them, discuss your profile, and at various stage of the process, my team does connect you guys to licensed immigration advisors. If there is no clear pathway available, if they feel that okay, there is no pathway available for this person, it's best that they speak to a licensed immigration advisor. My team does connect you to us, and we will have that chat. So have a chat with my team. If they're able to give you a good plan, great. A study pathway is one of the best things that I think for you, but you could probably give it a shot by applying online. There is a website called seek.co.nz. Have a chat and have a look. Yeah. Okay, we've got someone who says his name is his her name is Phenomenal India. Hello, what are the real PROs of New Zealand over Australia, UK, Canada? Please give me specific facts. Housing, food, travel is quite expensive. Wages are low comparatively. Am I wrong? Most students who couldn't get into UK, US, Canada go into NZ as a last option. Is that accurate? Well, I'm not going to mince my words here. Yes, it is expensive. Not just New Zealand. I think pretty much the housing problem, the food problem is everywhere the same. Now, whenever I compare New Zealand with other countries, I only tell one thing to people. Two things I would say. One is it is for your lifestyle. What kind of a lifestyle are you looking at? Are you looking at a proper work life balance lifestyle? Are you looking at free education and health? Are you looking at a retirement plan? Simple. If you are looking for that, then New Zealand's your place. If you're looking at lots of money, lots of money in the bank, if you're looking at a really hectic lifestyle, then probably the other countries are the best. Yeah. Because what New Zealand can offer is that work life balance. We are very, very particular about that. So the work life balance is great. Your retirement plan is perfect. As I said, I had other countries to choose from. New Zealand was not my last option. It was my first option. Yeah. It's not that because I could not get into the other countries. Yes, food, housing, travel, every I think the cost has gone up everywhere. I've been to India recently, and I was shocked with the prices that have gone up there as well. I There was a time where I used to get 4 rupees an egg, and now it's across the roof. So I'd say cost has gone up everywhere. So the indexed the cost of living has gone up everywhere. I would say COVID or whatever, inflation overall. But what is that you're expecting from this entire plan to move? That's the first thing that you need to ask yourself. Second question: are you looking at being a big fish in a small pond? That means bigger economy, more competition when it comes to jobs and things like that. Then I think Australia, UK, all the other countries fall into place. The If you're looking at being a big fish in a small pond, that's what New Zealand gives you. It's a smaller economy, so it gives you bigger opportunities to grow and make a name for yourself, and grow the way you want. I have seen a lot of people from coming from good backgrounds, banking, finance. They've toned down after coming to New Zealand. They come here and they say, nah, this is too much for me. I'm just going to buy a business of, say, some automobile parts, and I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to just work, to my requirement. Some people have pest control companies. Some people take up cleaning companies. It's like it's your drawing board over here. That's what a lot of people who have chose New Zealand have told me is purely for the lifestyle. Okay. Now the third advantage, added bonus, is the climate. Yeah, your climate, your safety, all these things. If you look at Australia, you have racism problem. In UK, it's very tough to get your residence. Canada, again, Canada is also a bit tougher, because if you're older, it's very difficult to get into Canada. So there's so many things. And US, the biggest of all, security issues, getting residence is very, very difficult. But yes, I think unfortunately New Zealand is definitely looked at as a last option for a lot of people, because I think there's lack of awareness as well. When I started in this industry in 2005, nobody knew about New Zealand. They were like, what is this country? Nobody knows about this. But over time, people started to know what this country was about, what can we offer in terms of education and everything else. So phenomenal India. The point over here is what you want is more important. You need to put your chart over there, your chart table, I would say, and then go one by one and say, what do I want? And choose the country which ticks all those boxes. If you want all of them, it's going to be hard. You need to make a choice which is more important to you, right? And um make that choice based on that, right? So I would say you are partially right, but I think at the end of the day, it's about what you need. Phenomenal India. Yeah. Next question is Gupt. He says, hi, my wife is a teacher in India. Any option to get PR, a job or PR? Yes, teachers are needed in New Zealand. I would say definitely, definitely needed in New Zealand. But getting a job from India specifically directly, it's going to be a little difficult for teachers, purely because your Indian qualification is not equivalent to the New Zealand teaching qualification. There is a bit of a problem in your levels of education over there. So the pathway that I would suggest for your wife, particularly, is to do a master's, to do a study here in New Zealand, and then you also have um, the work to residence pathway available there, where you have to work for 2 years as a teacher, and the end of 2 years you will get your residence. So I would definitely recommend you to take the study pathway. Getting a job directly is going to be difficult, or PR directly, because it's a occupation that needs registration and you have to meet the requirements, unlike a lot of other occupations. Yeah. Okay, next one. There's someone called Profile Pic. I can't see really their name, but he says, I'm 24 years old and I am a BSc IT graduate. I'm considering a PG IT course from EIT. I also have a 3-year drop, but I also have work experience in the IT field as well. What is my visa possibility? Course choice is the number one problem over there. We need to assess to see, why have you taken a PG diploma in IT? Because um, the policy has changed recently. You will not get a 3-year work visa if you study only a 1-year PG diploma. So that's the first place you need to re-look at your options. So whoever's asking that question, so you need to understand, if you're looking at visa only to study and come back, that's fine. 1 year is fine. But if you're looking at a long-term option in New Zealand, you might want to rethink your program. uh, I would recommend you to talk to my team. Our number is, available on our website. You can leave a message on our Facebook page, and on Instagram, or on this video after this finishes. So please leave a message, and my team will get in touch with you. We could we will discuss your options in detail and see what's best for you. It's important. At the end of the day, it's what is your goal is, based on which we will give your advice. Okay. Next comment is from Sunando. Sunando says, "Hello, Mary. Just a big thank you. Want to reiterate that we followed this pathway listening only to your advice and it did pay off." Thank you, Sunando. You're one of our model clients, I would say. In fact, I must say that we are having a special session tomorrow about IT professionals in New Zealand, and Sunando is one of our panelists. So please do join us tomorrow. The details are there on our Facebook page and things like that. So um, Sunanda, thank you very much. First of all, for being such an amazing client and understanding that we are giving you the right advice. Trusting us, I think, is important for people who work with us. And thank you so much for trusting and believing in our advice. And I think, yes, it has paid off. Of course, we are so happy that you and your family have settled. It was what, a 3.5 year journey, but I'm glad you guys made it and you'll have met your goal. So thank you so much for, first of all, believing in us and trusting us. Yeah. Okay, next question is from Sabina Tavari. She says, "Hello, ma'am. How long it will take to make a visa decision in the current situation to a student visa in New Zealand?" Um, I believe most visa applications are being decided within 30 days of application, but the earlier you apply, the better for any intake, because closer to the intake, the numbers also go up. Obviously, the processing timelines come down, increase because of that. So, Sabina, I would recommend you to apply in advance. We are encouraging all our students to apply at least 3 months in advance to be able to make it to their intake. Also, if you're looking at family to join you, if you've got young kids and you want to travel with your children, please apply in advance, because at this stage, student visas also can get delayed if you apply closer to the intake. But I think average timeline is 30 to 45 days at this moment. But maximum will be 4 months, is what immigration has informed us, right? Okay. So that's a good number of questions I see that we've covered. And we don't have any questions on Facebook. That's fine. Um, Anybody would like to contact us after this session, this video, please like and share with your family and friends. We have an option of no obligation advice. When you talk to us initially, you start the process with us for student visa or any visa, there is a no obligation conversation that you can have with us. Have a chat with me and my team. We are available on various channels: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. You can send us an email. So all the details are up on our website. If you are from New Zealand, you can contact us directly on our toll-free number 0800 696 If you want to email us, please email us at info@ajbglobal.com. But we'd love to hear from you. If you're interested, if this pathways, any of these pathways sound exciting, if you want to have a chat with us, there are a lot of videos also on YouTube around how, when, what about New Zealand. Feel free to go through them, but we're always open to answering questions. Also, check out our special session, Career Talks, tomorrow on Facebook. This is specifically for IT, what kind of IT careers you can expect. So we have two panelists who are joining us, and we hope to see all your IT professionals attend that session. It'll be a great session to listen to. Okay, thank you so much, and thanks for all the viewers for coming in. And Kakiteano.